Good morning and good afternoon for everyone. Thank you so much for being connected today for this second session of our Process Professor program. This is a space that we have developed and that we have created for you. I'm really excited to be with you on this second session. I am seeing that some people are still joining over here, so I'm going to start with a pretty quickly introduction about what we will be covering today and the topics that we will be talking during our session. So this is the second session about the Process Professor program. We enable and basically we launched this program 1 month ago. And maybe for the ones that are new on this program, the idea of this Process Professor program is to have a space where we can have a closer relationship with our customers, with our partners, with our whole community, where actually you will be able to hear something concepts about one particular topic, but at the end, you will be able to actually start creating or giving us some feedback, asking any question that maybe you want to have over there, suggestions, comments, whatever you want to do, you can just add it into this point. So for everyone that is joining right now to our session, welcome. My name is Kevin Guerrero. I am basically the technical manager, the technical marketing manager for Bizagi globally, and I am also the process professor. I have been working in this company for 9 years, and I am pretty excited to be with you in our today's session. As I was telling you, this process professor session is basically a new program, a new space. You will be able to join us and to be with us every month. Once a month, we have this program being executed. At the beginning, with the time, we will review and we will see if we maybe run the program more often or how we will be doing it. But initially, we will have it once a month. And basically, we're having this program the second Thursday of every month. So that means that the next session of the Process Professor will be executed on April 8th. So more than welcome for everyone to join us for that session, and you will be able to explore the concepts. How this whole Process Professor program basically works. The idea that we have on this session or in this hour is that we are able to create a better connection, a closer connection with our customers, partners, and with our community. And the way on how it will be working is that we're going to start talking about at the beginning some minutes about one general topic overview, where we will be talking about and we will be reviewing what we have for that session. Then we will talk about, or we will show you a pretty quickly show demonstration how that feature works, or how actually basically Bizagi is able to get into the point where we want to have that opportunity. And at the end, we are going to have an open space for questions and answer for you. So one of the great advantage about this Process Professor program is that at the end, you can take the time not only to hear about one particular topic and a concept that maybe will be relevant for you, but also you will have the opportunity at the end to do any question, any comment, and any suggestion about any topic. It doesn't have to be about just, for example, the topic that we will be covering in each section. It can be whatever you want. If you want to know about something particular in Bizagi, if you want to ask about a best practice, if you want to give us a suggestion, if you are using one particular feature from our product and you think that we can improve it, you can just let us know and we will take all that information to give it to you. So welcome everyone for our session. Today, we will be talking about, we will be working in one really interesting concept that has been getting into the market a couple years ago, and every day it's actually getting more strong and strong, and it's everything about the citizens developers. We will be covering in our today's session how you can actually empower your citizen developers and how actually these citizens developers can be a key success to actually have greater and better digital transformation projects in your company. We will start talking about giving a general context about why actually these citizens developers are so important. We will see the benefits of some citizens developers initiatives, so companies that are running already this type of initiatives or projects internally, what are the benefits that they are getting. We will be talking about one customer story that is basically a really successful story in the use of empowered the citizen developers. And finally, we will be able to see at the end how Bizagi is able to match this with citizen developers and give them tools in order to actually accelerate and actually make better the digital transformation projects that they have. So the first thing that I would like to start is with just a general context. Let's try to understand and let's try to see really quickly how the digital transformation market looks right now. So many years ago, when we start working in this space and we start talking about digital projects, digital process automation, how to do or how to improve our processes, there were some few concepts in the market. However, right now, if we start talking about and analyze what we got in the market, we're going to find things like digital process automation. We're going to find things like intelligent business process management suites. We're going to have things like intelligent automation, intelligent process automation, business process management, robotic process automation, low code, and recently we even have this new concept about hyper automation. So yeah, this is great. Our market is like that, but this leaves us in a huge spaghetti of concepts that right now is generating more, let's say, doubts and questions that actually maybe is helping us with what we want to achieve in the markets. And the important questions, or the great thing that maybe we want to know and we want to ask at this point is, are all these concepts together, or everything that we have here, working as expected? Are we getting and are we achieving exactly what companies want? Are we helping companies to get into the point that they want? What is actually the result? What are we seeing on the market? And unfortunately, I will have to say that McKinsey basically conduct a survey where they just realize and they just identify that when corporations launch digital transformation projects, roughly 70% fail. Is this really actually a number or an statistic that we need to be careful and we need to pay attention? Because great, maybe getting into the digital transformation flow is what we want, is what companies want, and is where we want to be. But if we want to be successful, we need to know and we need to learn how to do it, how to approach to them, and how to basically execute it successfully. One of the things that McKinsey identified with this survey was that when they were analyzing and when they were trying to understand why these 70% of projects are failing in digital transformation space, they found different things that give us a really good idea on how we can tackle those points, be better, learn, and actually basically get into the projects with a different mind, with a different approach, and to actually understand the key success point for us. One of the things that they identify is that one of the big problems when we start doing digital transformation projects is the digital change hesitation. That means people that is been working or has been working in the company for a long time, and maybe they don't want to basically get into these proposed transformation projects. They maybe are going to keep distance of this kind of projects. And basically, there are going to be maybe many people that try to just move away from the systems or from the new system because they are used to work with their old systems that they don't want anything new. So that is one big problem. The second problem that they were able to identify is that the integration with legacy and digital assets sometimes is not as easy as expected. So company has been invested a lot of money buying some of these legacy systems, and they don't want to just put it on the trash. They want something that allows them to put it or integrate it successfully with what they are doing in the new project and coordinate or orchestrate everything in a way. The 2 points that they identify are going to be really important for what we will be talking today. And it is companies, when they got into this digital transformation project, are having or taking the same approach for all processes. They believe that all processes are exactly the same, that all of them works, right? Exactly in the same way. And because of that, we have to tackle them exactly in the same way. And this is one of the problems that it is generating, that we got into this 70% of project failings. And also, they were able to identify that at some point in some companies, we got into huge and massive IT bottlenecks. When we start with this digital transformation projects, IT will be our best friend, right? They are going to be the ones that will push processes, requests, and they are going to help us to get into what we want. However, if we are successful in getting into the digital transformation flow in our company, at some point, IT will not have enough bandwidth to actually solve or to actually attend every single request that we're creating in the company. So if we don't have enough bandwidth, at some point, it will be for sure that we're going to fail. So once that we understand this, and once that we in some way got the context of where we are and how actually our digital transformation projects are being seen in the market, let's get into what do we need to be successful. So it's completely clear for everyone in every single industry in the world that business are evolving, right? The same way or the way that we used to maybe got one service a couple of years ago, it's completely different to the one that we're having here. Here in the image, you have a pretty quickly and easy example, the way on how we were able to get light. I don't know, 100, 200 years ago, it was just with a candle. Right now, we have bulbs and everything's completely different. So if our business are changing, are our processes changing in the same pace? Are we actually putting our processes in the middle and let them evolve as we want? So definitely, if we want to be successful, if we don't want to be part of that 70% of customers that has digital transformation project that fails, we need to understand that our processes needs to evolve with your business. And when we are saying this, we are saying that we're opening a full space of concepts and elements that a couple of years ago probably were not even in the market or were not even existing for them, right? Elements like analytics and elements like omni-channel, 360 degrees views from our customers, agility, big data, mobile apps. If we think about maybe 20 years ago, some of these concepts didn't even exist at that point. But now that we have it, we need to be smart enough to tackle them, to understand, and to basically know how we will approach to them. There is one quote that I like a lot from Einstein, Brian, is like, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting different results. So if we want to get different results, we cannot continue doing the same with our processes. We cannot continue doing the same with our companies. We need to do a change. We need to include something in our activities or in our daily activities that allow us to change. And something that also I like a lot is that we need to understand that one size does not fit for all. Definitely, we cannot use exactly the same approach for all the different type of processes that we have. We need to understand that according or depending on the nature of the processes that we're working, those processes will need a completely different approach, a completely different even audience, or a completely different group of developers that will be in charge of the execution of those processes. And we have understand, right, in Bizagi that processes can change. Processes can be different, and actually we need to offer different features, alternative, and tools for the different type of users according to the processes that they will be working. We understand that we can have processes that will require a big point of case management, or we have type of transactional processes, or dynamic flows, or basically structured processes, or tactical processes. And for every single of the processes that we have over here, we need to understand how to use, and we need to basically offer specific tools and features for every single of them. So even though that the first McKinsey number was a little scary, right? 70% of the projects or digital transformation project fails. We have also good numbers, and we have something that is being actually growing and getting stronger in the market, let's say the last 2 or 3 years ago. What I am talking about, it's one of the things about low-code and citizen developers. In a recent survey and a recent study conducted by Forrester in actually 2021, right? Forrester is predicting that the 70% of all the development shops will adopt a low-code platform this year. So yes, we have been working and we have been struggling a lot with this pandemic war and with everything that happened during the 2020. But also, we have seen that the pandemic has given us a golden opportunity to change the way on how our companies and processes works. That means, and with this specific number, 70% of all the development shops will adopt a low-code platform. We have a huge opportunity that we have to use it in a correct way. And you know what? It is not only Forrester, the one that is saying this. In a different and a completely separate study conducted now by Gartner, they mentioned that 71% of organizations either have a plan or plan to have an active citizen developer initiative. So that means they already have it, or if not, they are planning to have it right now. In addition to this, even Gartner mentioned that by 2023, the number of active citizen developers at large enterprise will be at least, please pay attention to this, 4 times to the number of professional developers. So the idea, or what these huge analysts are seeing in the market, is that we're moving really, really strong and at a really good pace to actually this huge space of citizens developers using low-code platforms. So once that we got here, let's ask and let's try to solve. Then what is a citizen developer? If this is the first time that maybe you are hearing or you basically know or hear about this topic, then what is this one? What is actually a citizen developer? I want to explain to you in a really quickly way using the following graphic that we got over here. And it is, one side, we are going to basically have, right, the number of people that we got in our organizations. And on the other one, we're going to have the technical skill level that they have. So usually what happens in every single organization around the world, what we see is that we have a lot of more people, that is when we are in this corner, we have a lot of people that basically doesn't have too much technical skills, right? These are what? These are all our business users. These are HR, accounting, legal, every single area of our company that are working in a daily basis, in every single day, in all the activities that they must comply, but they don't have technical skills. Once that we're moving from this graphic to the right side, that means when we're getting into this direction, what it is happening is that the number of people, it will start decreasing. We're having less and less, but it's because the technical skill level is start to increase. So that means that when we are actually at this corner, the last of this part of our line, what we got are our high technical people, our IT departments, developers, database managers, web developers, everyone that has actually a really high skill technical level. But unfortunately, the problem that we got with this is that we don't have enough. We don't have too much. We don't have all the ones that we need. And if you remember, one of the things that we were seeing with the problem that we got at the beginning is that at some point, IT will be the bottleneck, right? So what are at the end our citizen developers? Citizen developers are going to be the ones that are here in this middle part of our graphic. That means these are not a really, really high technical people. No, these are not our IT areas, but they are not also like people that maybe never turn on a computer in their life. No, these are users that are working on a daily basic activities using software, opening spreadsheets, creating complex, maybe even spreadsheets to do calculations, validations, among others. They are opening different programs at the same time, maybe to complete some data. So they know something about technology. Even though they are not experts, they know how to handle technology. And if you're able to give to this group of people, to these citizen developers, the right tools with the right, basically, approach, they will help you and they will be your best ally in actually accelerating and getting to the point where your digital transformation program is going to be a full success. So the idea of this citizens developer is that you let your expert be the experts, right? At the end, once that you hire one of the users in one of these basically business area, it's because they are experts. They know what they are doing. They have been working in those processes every single day for a long time. So they know how to tackle, and they are probably the ones that knows the best way on how you can improve and how you can change those processes. They are going to be the ones that know where you can actually maybe create new approaches, where you can improve them, where you will be fine improvement opportunities that maybe no one else will be able to do. They are the better ones to optimize those processes. So let the expert be the experts. And what it will happen if actually we are able to get into that point? What is going to be the business impact if we are able to give to that citizen developers the correct tools and the information that they need to accelerate our digital transformation programs? We are going to have a huge success in different, basically, points. First one, innovation. If citizens developers are able to start working with the correct tool, they will be able to start creating new solutions through experimentation. Again, in a daily basics, they are the best ones to say, hey, what will happen if I create this process that help me to take out some repetitive activities that I have on my daily life? So they can go and create experiments pretty quickly using the correct tools and basically be more innovative every single time. Agility. Our citizens developers will be able to give us that agility that we need, that option to introduce new products and services faster than ever. Why? Because now we are not going to rely on those 5 or 10 guys that we got on IT that all the time are busy, that all the time probably seeing more and more higher priority requirements. But now our citizens developers will be able to work by themselves, and they will be able to just get into the point that we want. We will be able to give to our actually businesses differentiated, right? We will be able to just create or have customer-centric experience and take businesses with context aware, where we are going to know exactly the type of user that is working our processes, and we are giving the tools that they need to actually be better. And finally, we're going to have the opportunity to do that evolution. Why? Because this approach, when citizens developers are using low-code platforms, will give us the opportunity to create processes, not only in a really agile way, but also processes that will be ready for rapid evolution. That means if we just identify that with the time, the process that we were handling needs to evolve, has new requirements, more data is needed, we can go and really quickly change it and evolve that process into this. I want to talk about one success story that we got with one of our customers. One of our customers that has been working with us for a couple of years, and one of our customers with a stronger and probably more mature citizens developer programs, right? The customer that I am going to talk about is basically Bancolombia. Bancolombia is basically in the financial services industry. Is the biggest bank in Colombia, but they have also presence in more than 5 countries in Latin America. They are one of the best success stories that we can talk about when we're talking about citizens developers and low-code platforms. I want to just show you some of the most important numbers that they have achieved with this approach. The first one, they were able to build, create, and put in production, fully operating 1,700 live processes. Live processes are the approach that Bizagi offered to our customers for citizens developers in a low-code environment. If you think about 1,700 processes, it's a really important number for any company around the world. If you think about this number in traditional processes where maybe we rely or we depend 100% on IT, it's a number that is pretty difficult to achieve. It is a number that probably we will need a full army of developers and IT database experts to achieve. But if we are able to actually give the power to the citizen developers where they are able to start creating, to start innovating, to be agile in the improvement of the processes, then we're not talking about just 10 or 5 guys from IT. We're talking about hundreds of users in your company. And when we have hundreds working, getting into 1,700 is going to be actually much easier. The second important number that they were able to get is that with all these programs, with this low-code and citizen developer program, they were able to increase in 59% the efficiency in the service time across 639 branches that they have. So they were creating these live processes and then putting really quickly for everyone that needs to use it. And with that, they were able to get into this 59% of more increase of efficiency. And finally, a really important number from them. They were able, with this approach, with this program, with this initiative, to reduce times in core processes, as for example, acquisition or even maintenance, when they were handling times for example, 3 to 6 months to just 4 hours. Using what? This approach. So if you see the numbers, if you are able to get into this point where you empower your citizen developers, and additional of that, you give them the right tools, you will get into a huge success on this type of programs. So now, how Bizagi basically gets here, how Bizagi fits in all this panorama, how we are able to offer to our users, to our customers, approaches and features and alternatives for citizen developers. So the first thing is that in Bizagi, we definitely understand that we don't have to use or to get into the same approach with different type of processes. That's why we are the only platform that is one platform from every process. Independently of the type of processes that you are having in your company, we're able to give you options for you to get it, optimize it, and make it better. Independently, if you have process-based apps, independently if you have strategic processes, dynamic workflows, case management, if you need orchestration, if you need human workflow, independently of the type of processes that you got, you are going to find with us basically a specific feature that will give you a different way to get into those type of processes. Talking about low-code and citizen developers, we get into the space where we're talking about tactical processes. Processes that are important for business areas, processes that are simple to create, processes that do not require, right, high technical levels, and processes that our citizen developers can create. In this space for tactical processes, citizens developers, and low-code approach is where we have our offering of Bizagi Live Processes. Bizagi Live Processes are basically code-free automation processes specifically for our citizen developers. They got implied, governed, and they are able to create pretty quickly forms without any code, pretty quickly notifications, pretty quickly simple basic rules using just wizards where you will be able just to do drag and drops. You don't need for live processes the involvement of IT when you want to put them live or even when you want to do the updates. So you are giving the full power and control to your citizen developer so they will be able to use this feature and to get into the point where we want with them. One of the great things about basically the citizen developers is that these tactical or experimental solutions sometimes can grow into enterprise processes. So we can have business situations where we can start with simple and maybe a basic live processes, experiment and see if actually this is what we want, and then with the time get into the point where this can get into a full enterprise process. With live processes, our citizen developers will be able to build, to test, to publish, and to run directly your live processes in the Bizagi web interface. That means the only thing that you need, it is a web browser. It is something where you don't need code, where you got a simplified functionality and where you got a built-in governance. So let me tell you one real story on how we were able to use internally in Bizagi our live processes to have a quick reaction for unprecedented times. So it's not a mystery, it's nothing new that during 2020 we faced huge challenges because of the pandemic, because of the COVID-19, and we have to adapt pretty quickly. One of the things that we challenge us, or one of the big challenges that we have as a company last year, is that once that the government allow companies to make their employees return to their companies, they allow companies to have employees in their companies, but with a lot of restriction. We need to comply with a maximum amount of people in the place. We need to keep the distance. We need to a lot of things. We cannot let that someone get into the office if they have any symptoms. So at that point, right, our HR department, our internal HR department, we're facing, right, a huge challenge on how we can control this, how we can handle this in a better way. And of course, this kind of situation is something where IT probably doesn't have enough bandwidth and probably is not a priority for them. They were, I don't know, struggling, putting everyone working from home, changing security permissions for everyone to access folders and files. So trying to control this access or this return to the office was not a priority for them. But what happened? We have a big citizen developer program here internally in the company, and we were able to use our Bizagi Live Processes to tackle this problem and to react in a really quickly way. How we did it? So basically, our HR joined with the process improvement area that we have in the company, we're able to create in a really quickly way a live process to control the return to the workplace. The way on how this process worked was actually pretty simple, right? The idea of this process was that every single employee that wants to get back to the office were able to create a new process from the return to the workplace process. Here, the employee must add basic information about when that employee is thinking to go back to the office. And we are able to create this process using this feature. If you see, basically HR, without knowing any technical knowledge, without knowing anything about software development, databases, web development, nothing at all. They just know what are the policies that health authorities has issued, or what are the elements or the information that they require. They can come here and they can start creating whatever they want. So they say, look, in order to authorize an employee to get back to the office, we need to know the employee name, the job title, and who is the reporting manager. Now, according to the health authority, it is required for us to ask these basic questions for every single employee. Have you been tested for COVID? Are you currently having any symptoms? Have you traveled to any risky place? Have you been within 6 feet to anyone that has been? And these are elements that we were able to create with simple drag and drops. So imagine that, I don't know, at some point we need to know if now that we're in the vaccination process, we want to know if someone has already got the vaccine. So have you got the vaccine, right? So if you see, the way on how I am able to do it is just getting over here, knowing that this is a yes-no control, drag and drop, change the name, and that's it. Now I have a new element over here. Now HR needs to know when the employee is thinking to get back to the office. So give me the date. Do you need a conference room when you go out and visit the office? Will you be with someone else? Let me know with how many people you will be. So in that way, I can control, right, the number of people that I am going to have directly into my office. Once that I am able to complete this information, then I am going to have a really basic decision point where I am going to check or I am going to validate if that employee has the minimum requirements to actually get back to the office. That are what? That if any of the questions where we're asking health conditions, they were true in any of them. Take a look that I am able even to change here from any or to all. And this is going to be as easy like this. So take a look that even if I got the information of the elements or the data that I got into this particular point, I am going to be able to just use the information and the data over here. So I can just say, have you been tested for COVID? It's equals to true, and that's it. That is a condition that I am going to fill. And then once, right, that basically I got over here, the HR department, that is basically the one that was interested in this process, will be able to see and review all the information that the employee has added. And at the end, they can just take a decision if they are going to allow the employee to get into the office or not. Based on what? I don't know how many people have been registered to visit the office on that day or not, right? And that's it. Then within live processes, we even have the opportunity to send notifications. So I can send one authorization where I am telling to my employee, hey, you know what? You have been authorized to enter into your workplace. This is your name, this is your case number, and with this, now you're able to just get directly into the corresponding office. And that's it. Now my process is ready. Now I have been automated this one. Now I just got into the point where I am able to have everything that I need. And I can get even into more details. I can select for every single step on my process who is going to be the user that will execute this one. It is going to be a predefined one. It's going to be a particular user or a particular user group. I can customize all of this. Do I want to allow that the user reassign this task to someone else? Do I want to send alerts when, for example, the case get overdue? What do I want to know? All of these with no coding at all. The whole process automation is being executed in a web browser, so the user doesn't need to install any technical stuff at all, right? And additionally to that, we haven't write any single line of code for that. And the amazing, or one of the other amazing things that we got over the live processes is that once that you are working here, you will get the opportunity to have 3 different stages for your corresponding live processes. When you create a new live processes, you will be able to have that one on a draft stage. Then you are going to have another one for pilot stage. And then you are going to just get one more for the publish stage that you got over here. So if I know that my process is ready, that is exactly what I want, then I can just move and say, I want to test it. How? Let's promote this process to a pilot stage. And once that I got into the pilot stage, what it will happen is that now, if any user or if the users that are authorized to create these type of processes goes to create a new case, they can go into the new cases section, and then they can find the return to workplace pilot that they got over there. And once that we get it here, that's it. We're testing right away exactly what we do. We are seeing the information that we got. We are able to get and say, okay, yeah, my name is Kevin. I am basically a manager. My report and manager is Rachel. And I can just answer the questions that I have here, right? So I haven't been tested. I don't have any symptoms. I haven't fly. I haven't visited or I haven't been in contact with anyone over here. I acknowledge that all this information is actually true. I want to visit the office, I don't know, let's say next week. I don't need a conference room. I will be visiting the office alone, and that's it. Once that I complete this data, directly, this can be now for any employee, I can just move to the next step. And once that I get into the next step, what it will happen? HR will receive all the data. They will be able to get all the information from what the employee complete, and they can decide, do you want to authorize the user? Yes or no? Sending any additional comment. And once that you get there, that's it. Your process is fully automated. It's now in the system. You are avoiding to have emails or chats or conversations in Teams. Now, everything it is in just one single space, in one single point. And as these are tasks that every single user must execute, you will be able to see them in the universal inbox that we got in Bizagi. Independently, if they are live processes, structured processes, case management, any type of processes, you will be able to see it from here. And if for any chance you need to understand much better or you need to see what it is happening with your live processes, we offer for you by default one basic report where you can actually see how your live processes has been executed. We can run the report, we can see all the cases that has been executed of that particular live processes, take a look and review where that live processes is located, who is the user that is working and creating over there, and if they are overdue or not. One final thing, and with this one I will close, is that by default, right, this live processes menu option is available for every single user. But we have the possibility, the governance option, to decide who can actually access this, who can see the information over there, and who are the users that can actually create and work with live processes. So for example, if you have a group of users that are now full citizen developers, that they know how to use a BPMN, that they know how to create these simple options, you can enable them to create their live processes. And if you got maybe some starting user or basic users that need some time, you basically disable this option and you will enable just when they have. So you have control of who can create and who cannot create this option.